Right, so as you can see, we've come back up to Laurels today to do a little bit of feeder fishing. All the ice melt's gone in earlier this week, so I thought I'd come on here, it'd be good for a few bites to show you how I go about my winter method feeder type fishing. So we'll run through the mixes, the setup with regards to hooks and lines and everything like that, where to target in the peg and anything else that crops up along the way. So hopefully there'll be a few fish had. It's been warm a couple of days now, so a few bites should be on the cards. So before we get cracking, we'll talk through mixing the bait and the setup, and we'll go from there. So, bait preparation. As always with method feeder style fishing, keep it dead simple. You've only really got two options: micro pellets and ground bait. With the new fish going into this lake, I'm not quite sure which it's going to be, so mix both up. For this style of feeder fishing, when using a hybrid style feeder with a bowl, I always like to do my pellets the night before, so I've got them pre-done, but I'll just walk you through how I do it here. So you could do them on the morning, but you want a couple of hours really to take that water on and come back nicely. So we'll put a few in, so we'll keep for tomorrow if I'm coming. So pellets in the tub. Add your soap, what you want. So this is just the F1 cool water, just gives them a bit different. It's not exactly the same as everyone else is using. So just nice, generous glug. You don't have to go too overkill with it. And then just fill the water to the level of the pellets. So a good swish round. I'm not sure if you can see there, look, the water is just level with the pellets. And that's it, just leave them to stand. They'll be perfect in an hour or so. But really, if you can do them the night before, give them that hour to stand, bag them up, stick them in the fridge overnight, and then when you come to use them the next day, they'll be absolutely spot on. So then the only other thing's ground bait. So black swim stim, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of milled expander. Just to create a little bit of a cloud, so probably 70-30 this mix. I don't need a lot. So little corner of that. Black swim stim's always brilliant this time of year. If you're ever unsure on what mix to use, it's perfect for that. Not a lot of feed content in it, and they're just brilliant all round. If you're fishing for, say, silvers on a commercial and you want a fish meal mix, or like this bit of winter method fishing, it's just one of them baits that can go anywhere and do a bit of anything. So just mix the two together and add your water gradually. What we don't want an over wet mix. We want it relatively dry for this method feeder style fishing. A little bit more. But do bear in mind, with that milled expander in it, it is going to take a fair bit of water still, but just do it gradually and you're not going to kill the mix. That'll do for the initial mixing. As always with your ground baits, just leave it to stand, give it a good 20 minutes, half hour, and come back to it. Then just pop it through a riddle and we're good to go. So while that sits there, takes that bit of water on before we riddle it, I'll just run you through the setup today. So onto the setup, just while that bait has 5 minutes to take that water on. It's only a little chuck today here, probably chucking 20-25 metres, so 9-foot Acolyte Plus, just absolutely perfect for anything method feeder related, especially the cooler months when you just want that nice progressive action on that rod, nice and soft. You're not going to bump anything if it's an F1 up to a 20-pound carp, more than capable of doing it. Nice 3000 size reel, just balances nicely with the rod. 6-pound specimen camo main line to a little 25-gram hybrid style feeder to a 4-inch hook length of 0.15 mono and a 16 T911 in a bayonet. One important little thing what I've just realised for the last few weeks is I was always a massive fan of fluorocarbon hook lengths. I think the problem with those when you're method feeder fishing is the fluorocarbon's a lot stiffer than mono, so your hook length has a tendency to spring out of your feeder. So for that reason, any sort of method feeder fishing, I now use mono purely for everything. Just something little, but some of you guys might follow the stuff I write on Facebook and things and see I'm a massive fan of the fluorocarbon, so just a little change in the way I'm going about it now. So yeah, keep you up to date with that. So we'll stick a hook on, talk you through how I attach a hook bait, because it's quite important, especially when you're fishing with the washlers and the wowsers like we're going to be doing today from Dynamite. As you can see, I've got the yellow speedy washlers and the 5mm F1 wowser. That's a new one, not out yet, so you might get a little sneak peek of them. And yeah, we're ready to go. So we'll talk you through loading the feeder, where I've decided to fish in the peg, and hopefully we'll get a few bites. So I'm not sure if you can see really well, but on the camera, so I can point for you, there's a tree coming in off that point of the island, which is about 20-22 metres away probably. So that's where I've decided to start. It's nice and close, and hopefully if the fish are feeding well I can catch them quick there. If not, I've got all the open water in the bay round here to my left, what I can go exploring in, just work my way out gradually. And then, absolutely worst case scenario, I've got that long truck to that far island over there, if I need to go find the fish, if it is fishing quite hard. So that's where I've decided to start. Hopefully it'll be good to that tree, especially with them new fish. Just give it 20 minutes, half hour, build it up, get a bit of bait in the peg. But there's still plenty of scope to go out if I do need to change. So we'll get cracking and then talk you through it and the changes I make as and when I need to. So with regards to loading the feeder, just fill the bed of the feeder first, compress that in nice and hard, lay your bait over the top, always making sure your hook point's facing upwards, just so if anything comes into your peg it can get to it. And then just always like to cover him over with a few micros and just tidy him off. So, first cast. So you just hit your clip with that rod slightly behind yourself, just feather it in so it goes in with that nice little plop so it protects all your bait on your feeder. And then just put your rod in rest. Just make sure you're not moving that feeder. Worst thing you can do is drag your hook bait away from that pile of feed you've just put in. Slight bend in the tip so there's not too much tension, nothing that's going to risk you moving your feeder if you get a liner or an indication or anything like that. Now we'll just sit and wait for a bite. Hopefully it won't be too long. So it's another one of the new fish, I think. Been really good this last hour, so just chucking off the end of that tree. And fingers crossed they have been starting to get slightly bigger. One of the little mirrors. little bit better than one. It's one of the new F1s. See if we can hold him up for you. Come on mate, calm down. There you go. Lovely little fish. Put him back. There we go. Just had one, feels like another nicer one. Stamp's definitely got better as the day's gone on. Can't moan at that for one to end on. One of the bigger mirrors that we've just recently put in. Hopefully he'll behave. Can hold him up for you. There isn't a feeder. Look at him for a cracker to end on. He's even put his fin up for us, look. So we'll stick him in the net and we'll have a look what we've got. So we're at the end of the day now. I had a quick few hours this afternoon just as the sun's come out. So lessons from today, how important that ground bait's been, especially when you're not getting many bites. Just create that bit of cloud, that bit of smell in the water. It's definitely brought a few fish in, as you can see. Not gone through a load, probably just over a pint or so what we've used. Just helps hold them fish in your peg sometimes when you don't want to be feeding too much, especially now. We're only in the middle of February. It's not as though you can just plough bait through your peg and expect the fish to stay there feeding all day. Next one, length of hook length, something that's been absolutely massive for me, messing about with today. The difference between that 4-inch hook length and that 2-inch one has been night and day really. To be honest, with that 4-inch one you might as well be chucking in your back because you just didn't feel as though you were going to get a bite. That 2-inch, the bite's been so much quicker. And then lastly is hook baits. As you all know, we're a massive fan of them speedy washers, especially the yellow ones, but it's almost been as though they've just been a little bit too big today. So I've swapped between these 4mm fishery pellet or little pot of 4mm Robin Reds. Just slightly different colour, helps them pick it out, that bit of contrast against your micros. I do think maggots would have been good, but I've not had any with me today, but it's definitely something when I can get a few, when shops are open and back to normal and things, I'll be trying maggots on the hook. So we'll have a look what we've got and we'll get wrapped up. So as you can see here, lovely few hours fishing, some nice F1s, some of the new mirrors, plenty of bites, and that's what it's all about in these colder months, just putting a few fish in the net and enjoying your day fishing. So we'll get these back, and thanks for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and if you have any suggestions for anything, just drop me a message on Facebook or a comment on the YouTube channel and I'll do my best to get it done for you. So thanks everyone.